First question's coming in from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Colin, thanks for asking. Number one, I'm a first-time investor. I haven't done a deal yet, and I'm hearing a lot about mortgage rates increasing. Is now still a good time to invest in real estate?
That's awesome. So congratulations, Colin, on the fact that you're getting started. So you asked the question about rates, right? So rates are going up. If rates are going up and you can get a fixed rate, then the idea would be to get one, right? So if they're at 4.9% right now and they're being predicted as going up, then the sooner you can lock one down, the better. Just, common sense, if it's going to be 5.5 in a year, well, then you can get a lower rate right now. I don't think that mortgage rates increasing are at all a bad thing for the market overall. And so if you're thinking, Colin, hopefully you're thinking not about making a short-term score, but you're thinking about this is the first of a long string of acquisitions you're going to do over your lifetime, then it's a perfectly great time to buy because nothing is going to go wrong in the housing market over the next 10 to 20 years that is going to cause you any problems. Okay, I'm promising you that, all right? If the zombies come, you've got bigger problems than your property value, but anything short of the zombies coming, this is the thing that as long as you can count on population growth in the country, you can count on upward pressure on your prices, usually gradually and steadily, and it never turns back. If it does turn back, it's because of some weird short-term flare-up that once the fire goes out, it's back to a nice gradual trajectory again. You can count on it being rented if it's in demand, and you'll generate income. So my advice is, as soon as you can get in responsibly, i.e. putting down at least 30% of a down payment. If you can't put down enough, keep saving and put it off a little bit.
Yeah.
But the soonest time that you can actually make a quality investment in a good place that's going to have long-term demand indexes going up, and you can buy it responsibly, do it, and don't worry. All right? And if you ever hear me say otherwise, that we actually see some kind of and I can picture, let me give you a scenario where that would turn around, okay? If the people that are talking stupid again in Washington about giving away easy mortgage money so as to enable people that can't afford a house to afford one, if that insanity took hold, that's like akin to the zombies coming back. If that insanity took hold and we poured money into the system so that people who couldn't afford houses could buy houses, then I'd say hold back. I hate to say it, but hold back, because whatever price increases we have right now are going to get corrected and come down in the future. So bide your time, stockpile your cash, and pounce on that opportunity when it comes. Nothing like that is actually happening right now except for whispers by silly people. So buy the first one, fall in love with it, figure you're going to have it the rest of your life, make a plan for what that property means to you in the long term, and get ready to go buy the next one.
So then what do you think about FHA decreasing its credit limit to borrowers that have scores in the 400s?
I think they better still be checking
everything,
the income, everything else. Yeah.
Everything.
If you have a low credit score, if you have a 400, and anybody who has a 400 knows that I'm not being judgmental when I say this, but if you have a 400 credit score, you haven't paid any bills on time yet.
I mean, I might be a little judgmental. I'm just saying.
Well, you wouldn't.
Well,
yeah, ask yourself, would you lend money to somebody who doesn't pay anybody else back? Well, the FHA is going to do that, right, and the taxpayer is going to back it up. But if the income is there to support, keep in mind, last time around it wasn't just relaxing the standards on how much of a good credit history you have to have, but last time around it was also you can say whatever you say you make, we'll believe you. And you can make a small down payment. So if they go with 3% down and any credit score you have is fine, then you have to be able to show that you have the pay stubs to cover the payment. As soon as they go weak in the knees on that one, I would start expecting that a high percentage of FHA loans are going to go belly up. But I don't see that. I know what they're doing in Washington right now, and they're not going to repeat those mistakes. The question is, if things shift, then maybe they would repeat those mistakes. In which case, then the play for investors is to hold back and get ready to pounce.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that I definitely, you hit the nail right on the head, Greg, about income. As long as FHA is still checking that, I'm cool. If they're not, then I would be a little worried, and then I would pay attention.
Keep in mind, make sure everybody understands, FHA means that it is a loan that is being insured by the government, but it is not an insurable loan. Mm-hmm. It's a government insured loan. It's like I had a house down by the water in South Carolina. I had flood insurance. You can't get flood insurance for a property that floods every 3 years. You can't, unless the government's backing it up. And in that case, the government backs it up because even though it's an uninsurable event, means it's a stupid insurance policy to give somebody, okay? Like flood insurance on a house in the coast of the Carolinas is like throwing money away because you know the house is going to get flooded. There's going to be a claim. But the government says we don't want all the waterfront real estate in the Carolinas to go to waste. So we have to insure it to allow people to take a risk on purchasing property there.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of idea. FHA knows they're making bad loans. They're trying to stimulate the economy for folks that would benefit from home ownership. If they keep it tied to income, that means, hey, you have a job. It's a steady job. You make enough money to pay your bills, to live, to save a little bit, and to cover your housing expense. So we're going to make this loan to you. That person loses that job. The house may go into foreclosure, but at least they're not going to go into foreclosure like out of the gate. All right, they have enough income. And it's one of these things where, hey, you had a tough time. Unemployment was rattling your world. So you didn't pay your bills on time. Now you've got a job for 2 years. Like good deal, right? So we're going to give you a chance to buy a home, take a risk on you that really isn't a good risk, but the benefit is societal. I think that's kind of cool when it's used for the people that it's designed to be used for. Like, hey, second chance time, right? You blew your credit,
That's right.
but now it's time for second chance. You got a job. We're going to back you. And they take a risk on somebody. And then when it works out, it's a really, really beautiful thing.
That's right. All right. Next question. From Sam, Denver, Colorado. I've purchased and I'm currently self-managing 2 rental properties as my first step into real estate investing. Question is, should I stick with this one strategy and get really good at it before trying something else, or should I dive into another strategy?
Well, this is why I'd love to be able to talk to Sam live, because when he says his strategy, if he means what he said here, which is he's got a couple of rentals, he's self-managing, that's the right strategy, meaning buy rentals, buy houses, rent them out, hang on to them forever, never sell them, let your grandkids worry about paying the capital gains, right? Mm-hmm. So the self-managing question is a different one. So it depends on what he does for a living. Like I would ask him if he was on the phone, what's your job? Well, I'm an attorney. Where do you work? 45 minutes from where I live. Where are the houses? Right near where I live. Okay, so you're 45 minutes away from houses that you are self-managing. Mm-hmm. All right, so how many can you do? Right? Can you do 3? All right, it's kind of like juggling, right? Anybody can juggle 1 tennis ball. I can juggle 2 tennis balls. As soon as you put a third one in the mix, I drop everything. There are people that can juggle 10, right? So if you can learn the skills of being able to handle self-managed 3, you're going to get a higher yield, because as soon as you hire a manager, you now have another expense. You're going to pay 7 or 8% of your rent is going to go straight out the door.
That's right.
To the person who manages it for you, which can be a beautiful thing. But the idea, if you can hold out for a couple more properties until it really gets to be a pain in the neck, and then you hire the manager, that's probably, like, in other words, let it happen when it wants to happen, when it naturally happens. But stick with that plan. It's the right plan.
Yep. If it's not going to be a crazy hindrance, continue to stick with your plan, because it's the best
And
one.
you can't lose on Denver. You're going to pay out the nose in Denver because it's expensive, but it's expensive because the whole world wants to live there. It's an unbelievably good place. And now they legalized weed, so for some people it's even better.
I mean, I think you talk about all the support jobs coming into Denver as well, just because of the legalization of weed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
listen, the cannabis industry is going to be a
total
monster.
Winner.
You don't have to agree with it politically to realize it's a great investment scenario.
Yep, that's right.